Okay, we're all checked in on our Caribbean cruise. We're in Panama City. It's really painless check-in, and we're all boarding. It took about 10 minutes, I think.
I do love this new cruise terminal in Panama City. It's all very modern. We're here quite early, but there's no crowds and really easy to check in. There's our ship, the Norwegian Gem. We cleared immigration, etc. Obviously not going to show that for security reasons, but out to the pier and ready to board. A slight delay on the pier and then it's up to our stateroom. We're on on level 9, about midship in cabin 1990. We get very used to this corridor after 12 days at sea. Our cabin is a veranda stateroom, so we have a small veranda out there and a double bed. Wonderful shower. I was really surprised at that. Great water pressure. Very nice cabin overall. About this time an announcement came over the PA that we won't be leaving port tonight, or not until 3 o'clock in the morning. I do think they knew. Anyway, up to our favourite lounge, the Spinnaker Lounge, where we can get a nice view of the bow and the departure facility here in Panama City. Let's take a quick look outside. So this is up on, I think, deck 15 or 14, and looking down over the swimming pool. There's 2 swimming pools here. One is a standard pool and one is a saltwater pool. And they're big enough to do very small laps. Of course, swimming pools aren't for doing laps when you're on a cruise ship. They're more for drinking in. So there's already people here. Some people we spoke to on the cruise actually cruise all the way through. We're doing a full transit of the canal from Panama City to the Caribbean. And a lovely view of Panama City, which really is a nice city. I should spend more time here. Anyway, we're not going anywhere tonight, so bed down and get ready for the transit of the Panama Canal tomorrow morning. So bright and early on day 2, and I was pretty excited. I think I was up at around 4 a.m, not wanting to miss the transit. Plenty of ship life here. The canal seems to be busy 24 hours a day, and even now at about 6 a.m, there's a long queue. Our first highlight here is the Bridge of the Americas, which is officially the link between North and South America.
The canal retains most of the original equipment. It's still operational, except for the locomotives, tugboats, and the docks.
We transit under the bridge, and just a few minutes later we get to the entrance to the mirror floor locks, which is the first set of locks for the lifting up the ship. There's 3 sets of locks on the Panama Canal, and overall they raise the ship up, transit through the lake, and then lower it down on the other side. These are called the mules, and they do most of the work of keeping the ship straight. The ship is actually powered under its own power, and these mules just keep it mostly from hitting the sides. This is the visitors centre, the mirror floors locks. You can come out here on a day trip from Panama City, and this is the new gallery. I did resist the urge to moon them. Once we're through the mirror floors locks, we're into Gatun Lake. This is wider and there's passing ship traffic, and there's all manner of different ships. Apparently, when I took a nap, there was a US submarine travelling on the surface coming through. And of course all the Chinese container ships. canal transit takes all day. There's all the different sets of locks, etc. The Spinnaker Lounge is a great place to check it out. You can see here coming up to the final set of locks and the two different channels. There's actually a new set of channels as well, but this is the old one. Same story, very, very close to the edge of the lock. And then under the Punta Atlantico, or the Atlantic Bridge, past the port of Colon, and then we're out into the open Caribbean, or Caribbean, whichever you prefer. So the transit of the canal took the entire day, and very interesting all the way. Would I do it again? I probably wouldn't bother, but it was great to have done it. Anyway, the crew's cleaning up, and we're heading home to rest. Overnight, we sailed up the Caribbean coast of Costa Rica, and here we are in Puerto Limon. We have a tour booked here, and it's not through the cruise line, so we need to follow that pathway through the souvenir stall and out through a gate on the other side and meet our tour group there. This does seem a little sketchy. It's perfectly safe, but we're a little concerned at first.
It's not exactly blue. See, this one.
Okay. Bye. Across.
Good morning. What I could do for you guys today, maybe I can...
The town itself isn't that appealing, and there's a park which they've tried to brighten up a little, but really there's not much here.
Casa, bienvenidos, bienvenidos.
There's no beach or anything, it's just a rocky coast. The tourist authorities seem to be trying, but I don't think they're succeeding. So we're off on our tour with a company called GIO. We didn't book through the cruise itself, but this is a really good company. I really enjoyed this trip.
Welcome to paradise. Alright? That's it, paradise. Welcome to Costa Rica, my friends. So happy.
So first up, we're going to do a little river cruise on these dinky little boats. They're diesel powered, so they're a bit smelly. I do well to replace them with electric boats. But what we're looking for are sloths. 2-toed or 3-toed, doesn't matter. And our guide is very helpful. We asked him what's the difference between a 2-toed sloth and a 3-toed sloth. And he pointed out one has 2 toes and the other has 3 toes. Never-ending source of education. Seriously though, he was excellent. We came across this fisherman with his crabs, $6 a kilo. So success. There's a sloth. So mission accomplished on the sloths, and we stop at a little village, of course, to do some souvenir shopping. And I much prefer to shop in these sort of places where you know that the money is going to go into the local economy rather than shopping on the pier where tourist mafias control all the shops and force outrageous prices. So if I'm going to buy souvenirs, I buy them in these sort of places. On the way back, we head past the Puerto Limon International Airport. Well, apparently it's going to be soon. Back to the cruise port, and then back aboard our ship. So we depart port on time and heading off to our next stop, which is in Jamaica. But tonight we're checking out some entertainment. One of our favourite bars here is the Sugarcane Mojito Bar. And here's Manu, Mojito Man. Just FYI, I did ask his permission to take this film. And then off to the Stardust Theatre to catch a show. There's shows every night, and this theatre is spans 2 or 3 levels. It's a pretty impressive theatre. So the next day, and we're in Falmouth, Jamaica. This is a purpose-built cruise book, and it's like a little Disneyland. There are souvenir shops everywhere. I don't particularly care for this sort of stop, but it is impressive seeing the ship here berthed alongside. So I'll skip the souvenir shopping, and we're heading off to a place called the Good Hope Estate, which is in the centre of the island, and we're heading off on a little minibus.
14 parishes because you have 14 parishes in Jamaica. So you have persons from all 14 parishes.
I love those Jamaican accents. It's a pretty bumpy ride, but here we are, and I can't believe how lush and luxurious the jungle is here.
Oh, you're not picking up the Wi-Fi?
Who knows? It's just being a bit the same. Thank you.
Could be the same. Yeah. The gross Mitchell is mainly for right wing. You ever seen this drink? No. Dragon Stout. You know, and it's the same thing I mentioned to a lot of people about all the bridge that I've noticed they filled with black bill parrot.
There's something moving up there.
Yeah, there's a little bird. And there's another little one here again. There's another little one. Oh, step, it's not very smooth on this side.
This tour is actually advertised as a rum tasting tour, but I think the main highlight is the Good Hope Estate itself. A huge amount of history here. I don't think we'll get to the rum tasting in a minute, but I love just hanging out here at the estate. Perfectly safe. This is actually a resort as well, so it's not just the old estate. There's hotel rooms, swimming pools, etc. But now we're off to the main event, which is the rum tasting. Just to be clear, the rum isn't actually made here. This is a tasting room set up by the distillery at the estate. We tried 3 different ones, and including a 12-year-old. Now, the point was that a 12-year-old in the tropics is actually equal to a 36-year-old. It was a long bumpy trip back to the port and back aboard and off to Oceans for a late lunch. I have it on good authority that the carrot cake is excellent. After a long day sightseeing, up to our favourite lounge, white drink, and then we're in Grand Cayman. This is a tender boat. That ship can't call in there, so tender boat straight into the middle of the town. The town itself, Georgetown, is that's enough. A vestige of some sort of maritime history here, but it's all about the tourists now. And there's something like 5 tour ships anchored offshore, so it's a huge part of the economy. The other being, of course, offshore banking. But we're tourists. There's shopping both in the town, and there's a dedicated market near one of the landing piers as well, so make sure you check them both out. After a little bit of shopping, we're off to 7 Mile Beach, which is the meant to be spectacular beach north of the town. So you catch these little minibuses. They really pack you in like sardines though, so be aware of that. $12 each way, I think it is. $12 return per person, and they take you right to the beach. It's pretty uncomfortable and very packed, so you might want to consider other ways of getting there.
In the bus, you're gonna take the first bus. Folks, I want you all to
The beach itself is beautiful sand, pretty nice water as well, and unfortunately very, very popular right where the buses drop you off. So if you have the time, I'd suggest going north or south away from here, because this is really packed. It's nice enough, but not my cup of tea. I think that's our ship off in the distance. We spent a couple of hours out at 7 Mile Beach. Again, it's not my favourite sort of beach, a little too crowded, and I think either end would have been much more preferable. But the sand is beautiful, and the water's pretty nice, and the sun is shining. So, can't be that bad, right? Back in those horrible little minibuses to get back to the port, and back to the ship. I do like these tender boats. You get to see a lot of the marine traffic up close, and some magnificent views of the different cruise ships in port. This is our ship, of course, and you're pulling up again to board. After Grand Cayman, we steam off to Cozumel. We have a sea day, and I really love the sea days. Not a lot to do, and good time to unwind. The sea day, and then into Cozumel for some more snorkeling. Cozumel is one of the most popular ports in Mexico and in the Caribbean, and we put up next to the Celebrity Reflection. We actually cruised on the Reflection a couple of years ago, and that's one of our favourite ships. So at the Costa, which is the new pier, we're going snorkeling, so we declined to have breakfast at Señor Frog's, and we're off on our snorkeling trip. Cozumel is actually an island off the coast from Playa del Carmen in Mexico, so those are the ferries that can take you to the mainland. So this tour is actually organised through the cruise line. There's about 30 people on the snorkeling boat, and it's actually a snorkeling safari, which means we all get in the water and we swim around in a sort of group. It's very organised. It's not like some other places where you just go off by yourself. And there's some guides sort of keeping everyone together. A little crowded at times, but really quite enjoyable. The water's very clear. I think the visibility is around 40 metres. But there's not a huge amount of sea life. There's no coral to speak of. There's a lot of fish, but not a lot of sea life compared to some other places. There's some, but not a huge amount. Of course, that means there's not a lot to eat you, or you're the only thing to eat. Not quite sure which way you should look at that. I was very impressed with the diving guides. This guy is free diving down to the bottom, and you can see how deep it is. Goes down there, points out some giant clams, and hangs around there a little bit before he comes up. Incredible lung strength. So after Cozumel, we had another sea day before we called at the private island, Grand Stirrup Key in the Bahamas. Honestly, I didn't know what to expect here, given it's a private island. There's no locals around. I didn't think there was. And everything is provided by the cruise ship. Turned out it was excellent. Tender boats were a bit of a palaver, but then we got on our jet ski tour and headed off around the Berry Islands, heading out to an island that apparently starred in the movie Blow, which we watched when we came back, of course. These jet skis are awesome, especially in clear water like this. I don't know if it shows up really well, but visibility is 50 meters and just awesome. We pulled up at a little secluded beach, just stayed here for a little bit and chilled out. I think this jet ski tour was the highlight of all our excursions. Kudos to the staff. Rest of the day, we just hung out at the beach. There's a free buffet put on by the cruise line. The water's not super clear in the crowded part of the beach here, stirred up by all the people waiting around, of course. But swim away a little and lots of clear water. We've got the lighthouse and everything there as well. And it's beautiful and sunny and hot. And just a little bit of marine life. This private island, Grand Stirrup Key, is actually a great place to end the tour, the cruise should I say. And then it's back to Miami to disembark. Unfortunately the port there is a real shambles. Even the expedited clearing through customs takes a couple of hours and certainly no faster than any other customs clearance I've been to in the US. Anyway, please subscribe and hit the notification bell. Thank you very much.